Anyway, so I started learning. I started taking lessons. I was actually 14, and believe it or not, I soloed 2.25 hours. That's when the instructor gets out and you're in the plane by yourself. Boy, that's a lonely feeling not to see another guy sit in front of me. But anyway, made a pretty good landing and done a touch and go. That's when you just touch ground, and take off again, go around, and landed pretty good. And that was my start of flying.
What kind of a plane was it?
A little Piper Cub, a little J3.
And
Yeah.
didn't you crop what you
Now that was a long while later.
Okay.
I got to tell you about my first plane that I owned. During the war, you couldn't get gas. Everything was rationed. And boy, it was hard to get it. But I found out at a Model A, which is a Ford Model A, they stopped making them in 1930. Remember, this was in the 40s.
Yeah.
Well, the farmers used to never sell their Model A's. They would just
Pardon me.
put them up on a set of blocks and then set them in the barn. That was it. So we go by and we offer the farmer 20, 25 bucks for his Model A. Then we put a 5-gallon can up on the hood with kerosene because we could get all the kerosene we wanted during the war because the little engines, little donkey engines they call them, and the switching yards for the railroad run on kerosene, which was diesel. The same thing.
Yeah.
So I found out in a Model A, you start it up on gas, you get it warm, then you can switch it over to diesel. And it would run for about 100 miles. Finally filed the plugs up so bad the engine would stop. And take out the plugs, clean up the plugs, start it on gas, get it hot again, trip, another 100 miles. So anyway, we went in this one barn. I looked up in the rafters. There's a plane up there. So I asked the farmer, I says, hey, what do you want for that plane? He says, well, you don't really know what to say. I says, well, who's it belong to? Well, my father. Can I talk to your father? He says, no, he's been dead for about 10 years. So I said, well, do you want to sell the plane to him? He says, yeah. He says, if you get it down, you can have it for 50 bucks. So I thought, oh, baby, this is for me. Well, it was an old C4 Aranca that they stopped making in 1936. Had no brakes, just a tail skid. Get ready to stop, you dig the tail in, that did it.
Wow.
So anyway, we got the plane out up there and had to pull you out and everything. We managed to get it down on the barn floor. Got outside, changed the oil, put some new gas in it, and propped it 3 times and the thing started. Well, it was all fabric. You put your finger right up through the fabric. It was so rotten. Well, the airfield was only about 3 miles away. So the guy said, hey, can you fly this thing? Sure. No problem. So I finally take off. The 2 guys got in the tail, keep the tail up off the ground, got me going. I took off. I got about a quarter of the way back there, and I see streamers off the wings, the fabric's gradually coming off. So I finally managed to land at the airfield. I think I rolled 5 feet and stopped with that stupid thing. And refabricated it, and that's a plane I had for quite a few years. But I'll never forget how you take off in that plane. You have a little bit of wind over the tail. You keep the tail up off the ground. Don't have to worry about the tail skid. So I get on the side of the plane and push on it. Push a stick ahead. Run with that thing. You get enough wind over the tail, then jump in the plane. Hope you're going somewhere close down that runway and take off. And that was very interesting. So then I got my old girlfriend, June Poop. I says, June, would you hold up the tail and just let me get a little bit of speed and I'll take off. Well, it worked out good. We went through a puddle. Oh, man. Whew, was she dirty. She had mud from one end to the other. Oh, she swore I'd done it intentionally, but after I had done laughing, I told her, no, I didn't.
do we believe in?
But anyway, so much for that C4 rocket. But I had a lot of fun with that plane.
And then weren't you the youngest crop duster?
Remember, I was using my brother's pilot's license.
Yep.
Brother's age on it.
Yep.
And no, wait, I didn't. No, not on that. I just lied on my age.
Yeah. Okay.
My dad swore to it by his signature.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Anyway, I had a advertisement in the War Surplus News that my brother used to get because he was a veteran of World War II.
Right.
And well, he was discharged during World War II. And on that they had Stearman's, which is a great big biplane they had for training. And that thing was huge. Remember a Piper Cub that I flew? Well, first of all, that C4 rocket had 38 horsepower engine in it. Then I graduated to the J3 Piper Cub, which had 65 horsepower. Then they had these things advertised 220 horsepower, right engine in it. No starter, a big old hand crank on the side of that thing, a inertia starter. And it said $250 down Pensacola, come and get them. So I thought, why not? Again, all I have is I finally graduated. I had a civilian license and no instrumentation, no nothing. Nothing about that. No navigation, no nothing. So I went down there and run up and down the line, finally found a plane that had 17 original hours on it. Man, that was like brand new. So I remember the line chief comes out, he says, Sonny, do you know how to fly one of these things? I told him, no problem. So they got this stupid thing started for me. There's one problem with the Stearman, had a very close gear. It was very easy to ground loop them. You know, go out there and hit the wingtip. Well, I went out to take off. I ground looped that thing 3 times. Bit up the little wings a little bit, but it's still flyable. So I thought I might should take off with that stupid thing. They give you a full tank of gas, too. That was great. So I managed to get up and I think it was North Carolina. My father was running out of gas. I didn't know any airfields there. All I had was road maps. So I had this farmer's field. And he comes out and greets me. He says, nice plane. I said, yeah, I sure like it. I says, one problem, I'm out of gas. You got any gas? He says, sure. So, use regular gas in it. I don't know if it used aviation gas or not, but we put regular gas in the thing. Filled it up, and I think it was 20-some gallons it held. It wasn't much. And I said, how much do I owe you? He says, take me for a ride. Boy, he didn't know how many hours I had this stupid thing.
I'll be back soon.
So, I take him for a ride around there, and it's getting dusk. He said, well, I want you to stay overnight. So I stayed in the house overnight. Next morning,
Where were you?
pardon me?
You said North Carolina?
Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
I was from Pensacola. That's about as far as the plane would go
Yeah.
for run out of gas. Anyway, next morning, the only thing I had to go by, I had ESSO, what's the name of the gas, road maps. And I showed you macadam roads and concrete roads, and which was the 4 lanes and the 2 lanes. There was just very few 4 lanes then. So I thought, hey, I can make out with this. So I took off with that stupid plane. Yeah, first I had to get, the farmer and I had to crank that stupid up to get the engine started. It was rather cold out, so it took us about 4 times to get the thing started. We finally did. So I took off and managed to get all the way up to, it was just outside of Philadelphia, south of Philadelphia. I got low on gas again. I managed to find an airfield this time. A little old dirt strip. And oh man, it was tight getting in there, but I got it in.
How old were you?